When the going gets tough, it can be hard to see the light at the end of the tunnel. But even on our worst days, some things are guaranteed to cheer us up when we need it the most. If heartwarming tales and lovable animals are just what you need right now, and even if not, stay tuned for a video that's guaranteed to lift your spirits. The only thing better than a Pomeranian puppy is a Pomeranian puppy tucked up in bed. Throw in a pint-sized fluffy hoodie and you've got yourself a living marshmallow, as if getting out of bed wasn't hard enough already. In November 2018, during the construction of a road between the two countries, members of the military from South and North Korea met, shook hands, and chatted at the border. The meeting proved that even in Korea, where one side is constantly encouraged to hate and distrust the other, the common connection between human beings overcomes all. Despite their spikes, there's no denying hedgehogs are one of the cutest little creatures on the planet. But Instagrammer Hedgehog Azuki ramps it up several notches. This happy hog is often seen in tailor-made kayaks, tents, and of course, tiny hats. All of which are regularly photoshopped to perfection by fans. Sharing is caring, and dogs seem to know this better than anybody. While its owner was stopped in traffic, this pit bull was eager to show off his favorite toy to other pooches on his journey. Needless to say, the other dog was incredibly jealous. In September 2019, after Hurricane Dorian ravaged the Bahamas, a Good Samaritan was spotted in a Florida Costco. The man purchased more than 100 generators, around $450 apiece, to send to the Bahamas alongside food supplies. It wasn't long before the man's act of good deeds went viral on the internet, but he insisted upon remaining anonymous. Faith in humanity restored. In December 2018, a wild fox was caught by Reddit user Cyclist falling in love with a fox of the opposite sex. At least that's what the fox thought he was doing. Unfortunately, he didn't realize that the foxy lady on the other side of the glass wasn't the girl of his dreams, but a fox-themed Christmas decoration instead. That didn't stop the smitten fox paying a visit to his crush every day. I imagine his flirting attempts went something like, "Wow, you're really glowing tonight." In 2018, an elementary school teacher in South Carolina took the initiative to start a gentleman's club. No, not that kind. The weekly meetup was created so low-income pupils, often with no father figures, could stay on the straight and narrow by learning how to be gentlemen. The boys focus on learning how to dress sharp, make eye contact, shake hands, and even how to eat and drink like a gentleman. Their inspirational teacher even provides ties, bow ties, and jackets for those students who can't afford them. But most importantly of all, he provides them with a sense of belonging and self-esteem. For a social animal like a dog, being abandoned or given up to a shelter is one of the worst things that can happen. But once in a while, these poor puppers get a second chance. When a lovable pit bull was adopted from the local shelter, he finally felt loved. It didn't take long for the family's young child to become best friends with his new canine companion. And when the kid dressed his buddy up in a dragon outfit matching his own, the pooch was obviously on board. The look of love and patience on the dog's face, despite the silly costume, shows that, for that once abandoned canine, he has everything he'll ever need. Not all dogs get so lucky, but when we hear about the ones that do, it warms the heart like nothing else. Hopping along now to this little guy who's got more than his fair share when it comes to ears. He's what's known as a lop-eared rabbit, a type of bunny bred specifically to have long, floppy ears. Some lop-eared rabbits' ears are so long they can barely hop around without tripping over them. Whether that's adorable, funny, or sad, I'll leave that up to you. But this guy certainly seems pretty content. This German Shepherd has done a lot of growing since he last slipped on, or in, his owner's work boot. But that doesn't stop him from trying. This is why you should always shake your boots before you put it on. You never know what spider, snake, or German Shepherd might be hiding inside. The fear of flying affects 6.5% of the world's population, but sometimes a special item from a loved one can make the whole thing more bearable. More than 43 years ago, a 5-year-old made this doll for his dad to soothe his fears and remind him of happier things while flying. Decades later, in 2019, when his father flew to visit him, the son discovered his old man still carried that doll on every flight. In this video captured in May 2017, a cat named Felix gets in a brawl and falls straight into the River Thames in London. A heroic passerby without a moment's hesitation rescues the feline, who is about as grateful as you'd expect a cat to be. The anonymous hero walks off, presumably to save other animals, and Felix plays it cool. pretending he didn't nearly lose one of his 9 lives. When the owners of a new puppy asked their 4-year-old to put it to bed, the kid gave his new pet the kind of tucking in he liked best. So, imitating his parents' methods, the kid set his pup up with a doll and a jacket fashioned into a blanket. Needless to say, the pup dozed right off under Batman's protection. In 2016, American football player Travis Rudolph was visiting a middle school when lunchtime rolled around. He headed to the cafeteria and took a seat at the table of an autistic boy who normally sat alone during lunch. The boy's autism made it hard for him to form friendships, but after a photo of him and Rudolph went viral, his table became the most popular spot of all. Of course, it shouldn't have taken a viral image for the other students to include somebody who's a little different, but that positive change totally changed a once lonely boy's life and will stick with him forever. Sometimes the finest joys are the simplest. Case in point, windshield frog. Little needs to be said. We need only bask in the glory of this brave, rounded free rider. Hopefully he steers clear of the wipers. Other simple joys are often found in things that rhyme. You've heard of Elf on the Shelf. Now get ready for Owl on a Towel. And I guess, while you're here, you may as well take some moist owlets. Now for a heartwarming tale from the past. During the Great Depression, people were so poor, they had to make their clothes out of whatever materials were available. Wheat and flour sacks were a particularly common example. Indeed, sack dresses became especially popular, and in 1939, manufacturers began making their sacks out of bright colors and pretty patterns. The variety of colors allowed people to make and wear shirts, skirts, and dresses that allowed them to feel like individuals. With sack outfits that looked like regular clothes, it also helped them feel not so poor. And in hard times, morale boosts like that can make all the difference. Excuse me, sir, but this seat's taken. This tiny Rufus hummingbird isn't much larger than a quarter, but still has the courage to claim a lawn chair for itself. Being so small isn't easy, but humans will tend to look out for you when your chirp sounds like this. A year after losing her daughter, this mom finally got a chance to meet the man who received her child's donated heart. At first, hearing the heartbeat made the mourning parent cry, but things got easier when the recipient gave her a long hug and his family thanked her for the precious gift of life. We can only imagine how the mother felt, knowing that the heart that once beat in her own womb now beats on in someone else, allowing them to live. When a foal was found by English farmers malnourished and dehydrated after being abandoned by its mother days after its birth, they knew they had to do something. They took the foal to a local horse sanctuary where it slowly recovered, and made a lifelong friend along the way, a 4-foot-tall teddy bear, which it continues to snuggle up to in place of its mother. This cockatiel has just the right look to brighten up your day. Serious, overjoyed, sad, or a little embarrassed. Whichever raises your spirits the most, this little chirper delivers. Other pets are jumping on the trend too. With a little paper and a camera, endless joy is guaranteed. When a calf was born in the middle of a snowstorm in Indiana, this farmer hopped fully clothed into his hot tub with the animal to raise its body temperature. After drying off and spending a couple days in an electric blanket, the calf was just fine. Every Thursday morning, this young man waits eagerly for the garbage men to arrive so he can lend a helping hand. The waste workers value his help and enthusiasm so much they decided to make him an honorary member, with his very own waste management hat and hivvies. When a veteran was in hospital with no one to look after his 2 dogs, he had no choice but to board them at PetSmart. But when his recovery took longer than expected, he amassed a substantial bill for the care of his dogs, which he couldn't afford. When he visited the store, however, he was told that his fees and other necessities had been paid for by anonymous strangers who'd heard about his situation. His overwhelmed reaction and the kind deed that triggered it is enough to warm even the coldest heart.
Are you serious? Are my dogs? Are you serious? That's so unbelievable.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Aww.
Nobody likes a trip to the doctor, not even our furry friends. One veterinarian clearly understands this and takes an extra step towards making his patients feel safe and comfortable. The vet's comfort dog assistant, a friendly husky, is always close at hand to support frightened pets. I'm all for introducing this in human hospitals too. Maybe not the allergy ward though. After quite the day at the dog park, this pup is just too tired to wait till home for bed. With his tongue hanging out and a cartoonish grin, it certainly looks like sweet dreams of digging in bones are on the cards. While they may grow up into terrifying killing machines, baby hippos couldn't be more adorable. These slimy, chubby chompers are at their cutest when practicing the bite that will one day be able to tear off limbs. But right now, I think we can all forget about that. When Reddit user QTipJC was working the oil fields of West Texas in January 2019, the last thing he expected to find was a puppy. But lo and behold, Dumbo's big-eared, little-legged canine cousin appeared, and Q-Tip was unable to ignore his little face. He named him Dobby, and I can see why. Although there are a few other worthy contenders for that name. Of course, all oilfield pups need the perfect driver to get them to safety. This young pup is perfect for the job, and I foresee a successful driving career, perhaps alongside these trained driving dogs from New Zealand. Yep, they're real, and there's only one response to that.
Hey, where'd you learn to drive? What?
It doesn't get much cheerier than the happiest creature on Earth, the Quokka. These marsupials are found on an island called Rottnest, just off the coast of Perth, Australia. Like their distant cousins, kangaroos, they have offspring known as joeys, which mothers carry in a pouch for the first few months of their lives. As they existed for a very long time without contact with humans, they don't fear us, unlike most wild animals. They're extremely friendly and curious, and visitors regularly flock to Rottnest to spend time with these happy little smilers. Did this video cheer you up or make a good day even better? Let me know in the comment section below. Thanks for watching and have a great day.